What's up and welcome to Built Crew. I'm Kobe and today we're getting into something personal, powerful, and honestly overdue. Black women's wellness has been ignored, misunderstood, and dismissed for generations. From healthcare access to body image to pressure of being strong while still fighting to be heard. But today we're talking about what happens when a Black woman chooses herself. My guest has built a community by sharing her journey through women's health, breast reduction surgery, fitness, and body confidence. She's been featured in the New York Times and Essence. She's a proud member of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and most importantly, she's someone I've known for years. Payton, welcome to Built Crew. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here. That was a nice intro, okay?
Yes, absolutely. You know, I had to
excited.
do it up for an icon.
Thank you.
You know, Payton, so we've known each other for a while now.
Oh my gosh, this is a long time, yes.
I know. Shout out to Shrek the Musical.
Yes,
If
I
you
was
know,
telling
you
my
know.
friend, I was like, yeah, I'm going to meet with one of my friends that I did musicals with in high school. And she was like, that's so cool.
I know. And now we both find ourselves here in Dallas, all grown up.
Yes.
You know, but now people are discovering you through the platform that you built, which has been so cool to see, honestly,
Thank
knowing
you.
you so long. Yes. What do you feel like people are connecting to now that they are finding you online?
Yeah, I would say I feel like a lot of people connect to me through, I guess I'll just tell my story a little bit. I kind of accidentally became an influencer content creator.
Yeah.
I've always worked in social media and marketing and communications, but one of my videos blew up where I talked about having a breast reduction. And it'll be 3 years in July. But I always grew up with like playing sports and just really struggling to carry the weight of my breast. Now people are finding me, and I think they're able to connect with me with my realness, with my vulnerability, how I'm just honest about the whole process. I try to connect and answer questions, any comments that people have, but just being real and being myself, I feel like people can see themselves through like what I've been through. Like women will DM me and they'll be like, oh my gosh, I've been following your journey and I went and got a reduction because of you. Like,
Wow.
I love it. This is just amazing. Thank you. Continue doing what you're doing. So I've just been able to connect, just being myself and vulnerable and honest on social, honestly.
Payton, and you know, we'll get to that part
Yes.
of your story because you just have such a rich story. I
Thanks.
want to make sure we cover everything.
Yes.
You know, I'm curious, taking it all the way back to high school. We
Ooh.
went to a predominantly white high school.
Yes.
You know,
Private, Catholic,
yes.
predominantly white.
Absolutely.
Yes.
You went to the all-girls school. I went to the
Yes.
all-boys school.
Mhm.
I'm curious, when you look back at those times,
Yeah.
what message were you receiving about your body or femininity?
Ooh.
You know?
I think it's so crazy looking back now because when I was in high school, like I played soccer, I was always very active, but I always just felt like I was big and like overweight. Cause like a lot of the people that we're around are, you know, smaller, petite, typical, different body sizes than, you know,
Absolutely.
than we come from as like, you know, Black women. We're Black people.
Yeah.
So I just always thought I was so big. And now I'm looking back and I'm like, dang, I really wasn't big for real.
No,
like,
you were not
I
big at all.
but like at the time, I was just looking at myself and like, you just naturally see women who are different shapes. And I'm like, wow, I just feel like I'm so large compared to like the typical women that I would see in high school. I think even just like when you go to the doctor and stuff, and like I've always had a higher like BMI, like the standards that our healthcare system has and all of that, it's just, I feel like it was just always kind of working against me. The people I saw every day, healthcare, all of that, just mentally, I was just like, I feel like I'm just large. So
Yeah.
it was different.
So
yeah.
was high school when you really kind of like noticed yourself, or you felt people notice you or judging you?
Yeah, I would say high school. So like for middle school and elementary school, I went to Milwaukee Public Schools and it was pretty diverse. Once I got to high school, it was about maybe like 5 Black girls in my graduating class. So I just naturally stood out, I feel like. Like I always knew I was Black and like,
No,
but it's like once you're in a
absolutely.
space where like the lights are on you and it's like you're different from everybody else. It's like, wow, okay, yeah, I really am different. Not in a bad way, but just like I've always, like my parents have always celebrated me and like our culture and being confident in who we are. Yeah. Just going into that space as like a teenager where you're going through puberty, you're trying to find yourself and see who you really are. And then it's like you're also in a space where you just feel like other or different.
Did the people at home understand? And I know you have a fantastic support system with your mom and dad and brother. Yes. Did they understand kind of what you were going through? Were you sharing that discomfort with them?
Yeah, so before I decided to go to the high school I went to, my parents were like, you know, either you can go to a private high school or if you want to go to public school, you can get a car. And so I chose my education. They were like, you know, that's cool, but we want you to always be confident in who you are and like where you come from. Don't feel like you need to go in there trying to fit in with these people or like you're less than or anything, because they're like, you know, you come from homes just as good or even better than like a lot of these people, and you're supposed to be there. Like, you got into the school, you're intelligent, you're smart. Just always have the confidence to be in those spaces. So I think knowing that ahead of time and always having that support, I didn't really feel like I needed to like fit in or like be different. I think there were instances where I'm just like, kind of like a cultural shock where it's like, oh, that's a little different that y'all do that, or it's different that y'all like the whole like drinking thing in high school. Yeah. My parents don't play that. So I was like, wait, what's happening at the after party at homecoming? Like, I'm like, this is different. You can feel
so like outside of the culture, for sure.
Just very different. But I think overall, like you said, like my family unit, they've always just instilled in me the values that like I'm enough and I'm supposed to be here.
I love that so much. Yeah. And so then you went to UW-Madison. Yes. And then you joined Alpha Kappa Alpha. Yes. What was it like finding Black sisterhood on a campus that can feel, you know, predominantly white again?
Yeah. The crazy thing was my freshman year of college, I got to UW-Madison and I was just really struggling. Like, it was a big difference as far as like, you know, the high schools we came from were not huge high schools. So like we're in classes of like 13 to 15 people. I got to UW and my class was like 400 people. Yeah. And I'm just like, not only is it an adjustment to like you're an adult for the first time, you're away from home, but also now you really have to like teach yourself. And it was just a cultural shock of like the sizes. And then I didn't go into UW with like in a scholarship program. And I feel like most of like Black and brown students are in a scholarship program where they have that kind of community already built in for them. Yeah. So for me, I just knew the girls like from DS, like about half of our student body kind of goes to UW-Madison.
Absolutely.
So like I knew those girls, but like we weren't necessarily like friends. And then like they go and they make their own friends. So I was kind of there. I feel like I was kind of by myself. Yeah. It was just hard. So I was actually ready to transfer to like a different school after my first semester.
Wow.
I was like, I hate this. I dealt with some microaggressions and like some racism and stuff. And I was just like, I can't do this. Like, this is too much. And my parents, they just said like, stick it out the first year. If you still feel like this at the end of the spring semester, then like we can look into other things. So the end of my fall semester is when I actually found the women of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated for like my chapter. And I was just like, this is a sisterhood that I felt like I had when I was in high school with like my friends and like my best friends and like we were all just really close and tight. And I've always had amazing friends in my life, but I was missing that in college. And when I first met them, I was like, this is what I'm missing. Like, this is what I've been looking for. Being able to see that's really what like kept me at UW, got me through college. Cause I felt like I finally had like my community and a sisterhood and what I was really missing being so far away from home, but also at like a predominantly white institution.
You know, I have my own complicated feelings about UW-Madison.
Yes.
It kind of gives white liberal bubble.
You know, like, it does. It really does. And people are like, oh, it's liberal. I'm like, I've been called the N-word. Yeah. I've had people look at me and be like, you know, close the elevator door because they don't want to be on the elevator with. Like, It's just little things like that. And mind you, like I'm 18, 19 years
Yeah.
old, just out there in the world by myself for the first time. So it's like you're dealing with all of this. Plus, it's a pretty difficult institution, like education wise.
I was gonna say, like, for people who don't know, UW-Madison is like the college of Wisconsin.
It is, yeah.
And it's very known throughout the country.
It
And
is.
so,
I think they were just ranked like top 25 public schools in the university. I mean, in the world or whatever.
yeah,
So it's like
it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's a hard school to be at for real.
And so the fact that you're even there, it's like that should just speak volumes enough. And the fact that you had to deal with that.
I don't know if he's gonna get into this, but
yeah, no,
okay.
Let's get. I wanted to ask. So there was a moment where there was a homecoming video, and so they did not do what they were supposed to do.
Yes.
Can you explain what happened?
So basically, we had a homecoming video that was filmed, and it was supposed to film different organizations at the university. Mm-hmm. And the theme was "Home is where we are," and WI for like Wisconsin. My organization, my sorority, we were filmed, and we were told that we would be in the video. They put the video out, and we weren't in the video. But not only were we not in the video, there was like no students of color in the video at all. And so I was just like, not only did we take time to film with y'all, like we're all very busy students. It's hard to be a student in an organization, like all the things that you're doing. We took time to film with them. We were told we'd be in the video. And then to say like, this is home, but home was really just white people. Yeah. It was like, do y'all really want us here? I made a tweet and it just took off. Like I remember making a tweet and I went to bed. I woke up the next morning, my Twitter was going crazy, but then I had emails from like the chancellor and everyone wanted to sit down and talk. And I'm like, this is crazy. I've always been pretty, I would say like typically soft spoken unless you really know me and I'm comfortable with you. Yeah. But I'm not the person who's going to be like the loudest in the room. So it was just, that wasn't me at all. But with that, a movement started and we were able to record a new video that was put out. We were interviewed by a lot of different news channels, but more importantly, I was able to connect with like the vice chancellor, the vice president of student affairs, and be able to like allocate different money to go towards student of color organizations.
That's amazing.
Because once we really did a deep dive, it was like, it's more than just being ostracized out of this video. It's like, we wanted everything to be like equitable, where it's like y'all are putting all this money into these organizations, but y'all not putting the same money into these. So we were able to really put things into place long term that will benefit students forever going there.
And you know, Payton, that is so interesting that you didn't perceive yourself as like the loudest in the room, yet you know, you made this kind of off the dome tweet and it like rocked the boat. What did that teach you about finding your voice and using your voice?
I think it just really taught me that it doesn't really matter how you perceive yourself necessarily, but like your opinion can be the opinion and like something that so many other people feel as well. Because that's why it took off, because so many people connected to it and they felt the same way that I felt when I was tweeting how I felt. I just think it showed me that like, no matter how much you think, oh, no one's gonna understand this or no one's gonna agree with me with this, just put it out there, because you never know. There's a whole world of people who might be like, this is exactly how I feel, and they just needed someone else to say that.
Y'all hear that? Just put it out there. Just do it.
Just do it. Seriously. You never know. I mean, after that, I was able to get a job with the university. I graduated during COVID, which was like a horrible time to try to find a job. But like through that one tweet, I was able to network and meet people. And that's how I really started my career post graduating too. So
that's so powerful, Payton. Okay, so then fast forward to a couple years ago. You underwent the breast reduction surgery. I did. What led you to that decision?
So the crazy thing is, I went for a consultation, my first consultation, when I was like 16.
Okay.
So I was playing soccer, and like at DS, the high school I went to, they were like, you know, state champs. Like soccer was serious. So we had weightlifting in the morning, we had practice in the afternoon after class, and then we had 2 games a week or something. So like I would be wearing like 3 sports bras like all day basically, to try to just make sure that I could like still run and participate the way I wanted to, and I wasn't like flying all over the place and being held back. I went for my consultation when I was 15, and the surgeon was like, you know, you're still growing. I think you should wait until you're older and done growing. So I decided to go again for a consultation when I was like 24. Because at that point, I'm like, I need to get this while I'm still on my parents' insurance.
Yeah.
Before I'm on my own insurance.
Smart girl, yeah.
So, yeah, because you got the money, you got to make. So I went for a consultation and he was like, you're a great candidate. I was able to get it paid for by insurance. And
amazing.
yeah, it was like one of the best decisions of my life, honestly.
That's amazing, Payton.
Yeah.
And I'm just so shocked that like 3 sports bras, like,
Yes.
and like that's such a quiet, struggle that you deal with.
It
Like,
is.
how do you talk to anyone about that?
It's just like, it's so hard. I've gone through, there are like moments in my life where I'm just like, I just felt so insecure or I hated my body because of my breasts. Like I guess the first time I really realized that like, okay, your breasts are a little larger than most. I was in class and like this guy asked me to be his girlfriend. Mind you, this middle school.
Okay.
And I was just like, no, I'm okay. And then we're all at the back of this class and he just gets to like ribbing me, like trying to talk about me, talk about how big my boobs are and men only like you because your boobs are big and da da da.
Oh my goodness.
And everybody in the back agreeing too. I'm like, so I went in the bathroom and I cried and I'm like, I prayed. I said, Lord, just take them away, please. And that was the first time I really like realized that like, okay, this is something that not only I'm carrying, but like other people recognize as well. Yeah. Just like there's just like things that you deal with having large breasts that people don't understand. Like the bras I wore were like $75 for one bra.
Wow.
And so I'm like, that's a large investment.
Totally.
And then to find a bra that's like full coverage. And I'm also pretty active and work out. So like eventually I was able to find one sports bra that I could wear that was pretty good. Because as I got older, more companies recognized that this was an issue that women are dealing with. Yeah. And they started making like more full coverage bras. But it was difficult. I would be at work and you know how hot it is here in Texas.
Absolutely.
I'm like, I'm wearing a blazer with all my jackets. With all of my outfits. Because like, I just didn't want that to be the first thing that people see when I walk in a room.
Absolutely.
And I felt like no matter what I did, people were going to be like, oh, she's doing too much. Like, even if I'm wearing a regular top or something that anybody normally would wear, I was just insecure of like how I came off or like how it looked. So like I always wear jackets. Yeah. And it's just little things like that people don't, like you really only understand if you've gone through it before.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously being a man, I would even never imagine that would be a struggle. And, I'm curious about the male gaze aspect of it. Because I think what happened when you were in middle school was very interesting. Yeah. And I think that, on one hand, it's like these are supposed to be a symbol of what femininity means, and it's supposed to be a symbol of attraction. Yeah. At the same time, I'm curious, when you did get the reduction, did you feel like you were going against what the male gaze said you were? Or did you feel like you were doing it for yourself? Or like, how did you work that out? Yeah, so I feel like getting a reduction has to be something that like you as a woman, you want to do for your body. Yeah. Because a man, if you ask a man what he prefer, and if he gonna always say he wants you to keep, the large breasts, it's fine, you look great, this, that, and the third. Yeah. But like my breasts were 20 pounds. So like, imagine just carrying like 20-pound weights on you every day. Like that was a lot to do. Yeah. Even now on social media, like I get a lot of negative comments from men that are like, why would you do that? You're not attractive anymore. I would never talk to you, da, da, da. I go to their page. They don't got no pictures on their page. I'm like, oh, I would never talk to you. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, oh, they can't talk to you.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh, you don't want to talk to me. Like, please be for real. Yeah. Luckily at the time, I was in a relationship and my boyfriend at the time was like very supportive of my health and the decision that I wanted to make. But I just think men, like, it's a lot of things within women's health and wellness that men just will never understand. Vice versa. I think the reduction really has to be something that you as a woman, you're doing for yourself, because the male gaze, they're always going to be like, you look better before, or you should have did that. I don't know why you did that. So it's like, you got to really do it for yourself. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so taking it back to when you first decided that you were going to go through with this surgery. Yes. And you finally put the trigger, you're like, I'm doing it. Mm-hmm. What were you feeling? Were you feeling excitement? Were you feeling nervous? Because I mean,
overall this is a surgery.
Yeah, it is. So I never had surgery before. So I was really nervous in general, just like
Mhm.
going under anesthesia, having to deal with that. And like there's a lot of complications that can happen with surgery in general. But
Mhm.
also like with breast reductions, there can be issues where like they may not look cosmetically pleasing afterwards because of
Mm.
certain things that the doctor has to do. So I was like nervous about that because like the scarring and stuff people are always talking about. And I was just like, I don't know, like I'm still a little worried. Just the thought of like surgery in general. And then I kind of got used to myself having such large breasts that they kind of were like a part of me. Like at a point in time, people were like, "Oh yeah, Payton with the big boobs," like that was me. So I'm just like, who am I gonna be now? but
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
it was a lot of emotions that were going through my head. But I think at the end of the day, I felt like this is what was best for me and my health at that moment.
Yeah, and I think from the outside, it's like, an old friend who was literally, we had both gone our separate ways and stuff. So I
Yes.
was just seeing you through your social media,
Yeah.
and I noticed that you just seemed so happier.
Yes.
And you seem, not for the better sense, like lighter, like it was
Yeah.
as
No,
if,
actually.
like, yeah, like
Yeah.
it was as if literally, like, weight had been removed from your
No, it
chest.
was. So
Yeah.
like when I first after the surgery, they put you in like a bed in the hospital.
Hmm.
I stood up for the first time and I cried cuz like I felt so much lighter, and it's just like things in life in general, you don't realize how heavy they are that you're
Yeah.
carrying until they're like no longer in your life or it's no longer
Yeah.
an issue. And I like stood up and I was just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't realize like how heavy I felt before prior to the reduction until like after I got it." And I was just
Mhm.
like, this is crazy. Like my back was feeling so much better, and I just was like in shock. I said, I can't believe this, but yeah.
Yeah, and this whole thing, I've been really finding myself getting more active,
Hmm.
and I just feel so inspired every time I look at your page. You're always
Oh,
running,
thank you.
you're always working
Oh my gosh, I'm
out
trying.
in ways.
Yes.
How have you kept that momentum going?
Yeah. I think I've always been like active and pretty fit. I was an athlete most of my life. So that's just been a natural thing that's kind of been there. But I think the motivation of just always trying to be the best version of myself is
Mhm.
what keeps me going. Like I'm always trying to improve. I'm also a competitor. So I'm like, all right, I lifted this last time. I can lift this
Yes.
this time, or I could run a little more than I walked this time. Like I'm just always competing with myself. But
Yes.
also like the thought of you like after a breast reduction, your breast can grow back. That's
Mm,
also something that can
I
happen.
did not know that.
Yes, so they can
Wow.
grow back like with weight gain, or just like some people have multiple reductions in their lifetime.
Wow, that is
Yes.
so shocking.
Yeah,
Oh
so I
my
mean, the thought of
gosh.
that too, I'm like, I cannot gain no more weight because I mean,
Wow.
like, I would do it again if I have kids or something, and I feel
Mhm.
like they may grow back with that. Obviously, I don't think they'll ever be as big as they were.
Mhm.
That's always in the back of my head too. Is like, I've really made this decision to have this surgery.
Yeah.
I owe it to myself to continue to like stay in shape.
Yeah, so it's kind of, yeah, just like a fear sort of, would you say?
Um,
Not a fear, but like,
just like I feel like it was an investment in myself. So
yeah.
like mind you, I didn't have to pay for the surgery.
Yeah.
I did have to pay for like the hospital room, which like wasn't like too crazy. Just the investment of like like surgery, you can lose your life during surgery. So it's like
Yeah.
I made that decision to like take that risk to have this surgery. So it's just like, I owe it to myself to continue to be consistent and work out and not
Mhm.
allow them to grow back. Like I mean, if it they can also grow back like just naturally sometimes. So I'm
Yeah.
like, I haven't had that issue, but
Yeah.
I'm like, if there's anything I can do to prevent it, I'm just trying to make sure I do that.
That's an amazing way to honor your body and the
Yeah.
opportunity you were given. I absolutely
Yes.
love it.
Thank you.
Okay, so you are sharing your journey on social media, and I am also building something very publicly, and I've been
Yes.
seeing you build something publicly, and there's a thin line between sharing stuff that feels empowering and then
Hmm.
finding stuff sharing stuff that makes you feel exposed.
Yeah.
How do you find the line between that? You're
It's
really
so
good at it,
hard.
though.
I thank you
I would
because I'm just like, I
say.
don't know. Initially, I think I was just kind of just putting stuff out there and
Mhm.
sharing my story. And then what allowed me to realize that like, okay, this vulnerability is good, or I should continue being vulnerable, was just the interaction and engagement I got from different women who were like connecting with me, and they're saying, please keep sharing stuff. Like, this is so inspiring, or you're answering so many questions that I've been looking for. Please continue sharing your story. Or they're like, I got a reduction because of you. I'm so grateful. That allows me to continue to be vulnerable. But I'm a very private person naturally. So it's kind of hard to figure out that balance of also being private. I think when I think of like my health and my lifestyle in that sense, I think being vulnerable and showing that benefits so many other people that it's worth it. And then I try to keep other things private, like love life, friends and family, stuff like that. Like that stuff, I'm like, that's private. I don't need to be all public about all of that. But I do think telling my story as far as like fitness and stuff, it benefits people, especially people from like the Black community. We don't always know about like how to work out, what to do, or where to start. I think just being someone that people can look at and say like, okay, I can see myself in her. Like if she can do it, I can do it. It allows me to keep being vulnerable.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally relate to that. I feel like I have been finding a community of Black men who are interested in fitness and health. I am curious, when you were growing up, was there talk about breast reduction? Was there representation? Did you hear about it?
Not really. I mean, I do have like 2 aunts who have had a breast reduction.
My mom has had a breast reduction too.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was really scary as her child, because it is surgery.
You just don't know. Like I've had people in my family who've had it, but then again, like you really don't know, because it's not like a surgery that's, unless you really know how they look before, it's not really a surgery where it's like, oh, I can tell that you had a reduction. So it's like, you really don't know. It wasn't really necessarily talked about until I was bringing it up to my mom that like, I'm really in pain from like working out and playing soccer. Is there something we can do? Like my mom, she doesn't have as large boobs that I had. So she was like, you know what, we can go and talk to a surgeon, see what we can do. But prior to that, like I had never seen people talk about breast reductions, especially young people, like still in their 20s. Now, obviously, like I did research before I had mine, and I connected with a lot of women who are in their 20s and have had breast reductions, but it wasn't really talked about before. Like it was just like, this is what it is, and that's how you gotta live.
And that demographic specifically, and I have to fact check here, but I was doing research myself, and it was like that demographic under 30 is a trend in rising breast reduction. And I think because of people like you're paving the way and really having those conversations openly.
And it's like, I mean, there are risks with it. Like you may not be able to breastfeed. You can like lose sensation in your breast. There's like risks that people are like, oh, I don't want to really do that because I, want to have kids and may not be able to breastfeed. And then like the scarring and stuff that can happen. Everyone's body heals differently. But I just think I got to the point where I was like, I really need to choose me. If the day comes and I have kids, we'll cross that bridge when I get there. But I was just like, I deserve to be able to be comfortable and confident and not like in pain every time I leave the gym. Like, I shouldn't, like, soreness is one thing, but if I'm like, oh my God, I can't feel my shoulders or my back, and it was just a lot. So I think it's nice that I see a lot of people who are younger doing it and making that decision, because you see, I mean, we live in a time where people get surgeries for everything. They don't like the way this look and that look, and they get a surgery for it. So like, more power to people doing all that. I think especially when it's for your health and to like help you live a healthier lifestyle, it's so worth it.
I love it. Okay, gonna have a little fun with you. And I know that you said it's a little private, but let's talk Dallas. Social media always has an opinion about dating here. What has dating in Dallas been like for you? Built Crew want to know, are the men in Dallas worth it?
Oh my gosh, dating in Dallas is so difficult. Like, so I'm currently single. It's just so difficult. I don't know. And I've talked to people who've lived in other places, because like obviously after I moved from Milwaukee and Madison, I moved straight here. So I've only lived in 2 places. So I'm like, maybe I just think it's really bad. But I've talked to people who've lived other places and they're like, it sucks here. Like, I don't get it. I don't even think it's the quality men, because I do think there are very like high quality men out here. I think it's just being able to find someone who has the same like desires that you have. I'm at the point where I'm ready to, find my person, settle down, be married, start a family. Like my parents been married for like 35 years or something. Like, absolutely, I'm ready to, have my person. But it's a lot of like hookup culture, or like,
Ugh.
oh, I'm just gonna string you along and keep you here as long as I can, but I'm not gonna make you my girlfriend.
Yeah,
And I'm just kind of over that. I'm trying to like date with intention. Like, I don't
absolutely.
want to waste your time. You shouldn't want to waste your
Yes.
time. I don't want to waste my time. So it's like, what's the goal here? What are we really doing?
Absolutely.
So,
And we're both very busy people. Time is
yes.
very
Thank
valuable.
you. I'm like,
Yes.
why are we just gonna sit here and waste our time? If you don't want to be with me, just leave me alone.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. And I love that you didn't settle.
yeah.
I'm curious, has your standards changed as you got more comfortable in your body?
I feel like I've always had like high standards. I do feel like I'm more confident in myself now. I think like sometimes I did have the thoughts of like, I know like obviously I love my face and I have a pretty face and stuff, but sometimes when I had large breasts, I'm just like, are they only talking to me because like the way I'm shaped? Like,
Yeah.
I'm also like a thicker woman, so that would kind of go through my head sometimes because I heard that a lot, like as a kid from other women,
Mhm.
not as a kid, but like,
Yeah.
just other women saying, oh, they only like you because this or because you look like that or that. And I'm just like, So now I think I can confidently more so talk to men without being as sexualized
Mhm.
when I meet them in person, at least. When I meet people on social media, I still feel extremely sexualized just because of like what I talk about as far
Yeah.
as breast reductions and women's bodies.
Mhm.
A lot of men approach me in like a way of trying to talk to me in that kind of sexualized way.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's not really who I am. Like, I know I may come across as like Instagram baddie, whatever, but I'm like, I'm actually very intelligent. I have a great personality. Like,
Yeah.
this isn't that. It's just kind of difficult just finding someone who genuinely likes you for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But good things take time.
It ain't gotta
I
take
know.
this long.
I know. It's coming sooner than you think.
No, that's true.
What would you say to women who are considering breast reduction, but they're scared or unsure, if
Yeah.
they're allowed to do it?
I would say just make sure that it's something that you're doing for you and it's a decision that you're making for your body. So like don't let anyone else opinion, like even if I'm sitting here saying you should get a breast reduction, like if don't listen to me. Do
Yeah.
it because you want to genuinely do that and that's what you think is best for you. Just like look at the pros and cons depending on where you are in your life right now. If you're already active and working out because it's something that you will want to maintain. If you want to have kids soon, like sometimes people are like, oh, I want to have kids in the next year or two. And I'm like, maybe you should wait till after you have kids if it's going to be that soon.
Yeah.
So just like look at where you are in your life, what works best for you and makes the most sense for you and make a decision based off of solely you and it being your body. Like you're the one who has to live with it. So
I love that, Payton.
yeah, thank
Okay,
you.
and my last question for you.
Yes.
What are you building right now? And it could be
Ooh.
in terms of your body or your career or
Yes.
whatever field. What are you building?
It's so crazy that you asked this. My current job that I'm in is going to be over in like the next month.
Okay.
So I'm in the job market, but it's crazy the timing of everything. I started taking real estate classes
Yeah.
about 9 months ago. So I just finished my classes and I just paid to take my exam to be licensed as a realtor here in Texas. I feel like I'm at the point, like I hear people all the time and they're saying, yeah, like I quit my job and I went all in with social and content and I went all in and did this and did that. And I'm just like, y'all crazy. Like I can never do that. But the crazy thing is I'm kind of at that point right now where my main 9 to 5 is ending and I'm starting to try to build this real estate thing together. So I take the exam and then build up a clientele, utilize my social media for that. And also just like really going all in with content creation as well. I'm still trying to build my platform, build my following, and just continue creating a space for my PayPals.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Payton, oh my gosh, you're going to kill it. You're going to do so
thank
amazing.
you.
I'm so excited for this
Thank
real estate
you.
era.
I appreciate it.
I hope to learn maybe you can sell me out.
Hey, when you're ready, let me know, okay?
Yeah.
Hit me up.
But Payton, thank you so much for building with us today.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here and being able to connect with you because we've been friends for so long. So
I know. And you'll be back.
Yes.
This was great.
Yes, thank you.
I think this conversation is going to make a lot of people feel seen, especially women who are learning how to advocate for their bodies. But before we go, where can people follow you and support you? What you're building next?
So you can follow me on Instagram. My handle is Payton_Renee_. TikTok is Payton Renee _. YouTube, Peyton's Place. I'm getting back into YouTube.
Period.
So,
Yes.
follow me on there as well. Just like engage with me. I love interacting with my followers and just building a community.
Awesome, Payton. Thank you
Yes.
again for being here.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Build Crew. I'm Kobe, and this is where we talk about building the body, the confidence, and the life to take up space. If this conversation spoke to you, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with somebody who needs to hear it. And we'll catch up with you next time.